Here at InTalksicated Reviews, we intellectually dissect the art of cinema, scene by scene. Here's some clips.
All he is, it's just a fucking big wooden doll full of cum, chasing kids around.
You look up guys who poop in a bag. I think that's where you'll find him. Because he is hurt.
It's probably just in your search history anyway, isn't it?
This movie fucking blows.
So don't forget to subscribe to Intoxicated Reviews on all places you find podcasts. Except Spotify. We're working on it.
Hey there, guys. It's Mark Adam from the Parenting Podcast. Join me and my co-host, Katie G, every week for a brand new episode. We talk about parenthood and kids. We talk about it from every single angle. We talk about the lows, the highs, the laughs, and the cries. Join us. Subscribe wherever fine podcasts are found. And don't forget to join our community. You can start by visiting us on Facebook, facebook.com/parenting. It's like parenting with an A in the middle because we like to rant about stuff. Anyway, you get it. We'll see you there.
Boys Club. Is it called Boys Club because my apartment looks like a boy lives in it?
I wouldn't say a boy lives in it. I would say a boy is kidnapped somewhere in here.
Boys Club.
We're everything. We're true crime. We're World Star Hip Hop.
World Star Hip Hop. We're Netflix reviews.
Stories of the day.
Boys Club.
Listen.
Yeah, do it. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. I think. No, we're not. And on Google Play. Nobody gives a shit.
Boys Club.
Boys Club podcast. Now with 90% more sound clips of black people.
Boys Club.
Touch me and I'll sue.
Hi there, this is T. Johnny with Quirky and or Queer, a podcast about otherness. Join me as I interview people in the community. I talk to musicians, community workers, artists, comedians, and even my mother about otherness. How does it shape their careers, their romantic pursuits, creative projects, and shape their overall worldview? There are lots of laughs, plenty of tender moments, and some deep conversations. Find Quirky and or Queer on your favorite podcast app.
Do not take product if you are hypersensitive.
Oh, hey, Internet. Welcome back to the Intoxicated Podcast. This is a podcast where I usually have my friends, comedians, and various guests on, and we talk about life over a couple drinks. And I'm your host, Sarah. I hope you liked my new, very energetic intro. I have a very special episode coming your guys' way this week. So as you might know, if you're a regular listener, or if you're someone who doesn't skip the ads at the beginning of podcasts, you might know about Intoxicated Reviews. Well, back when I started Intoxicated, I did an episode, I think it was episode 6, that was all about one of my favorite shows, The Leftovers. It's an HBO show. It's only 3 seasons. It's amazing. It's one of my favorites. And I did an episode dedicated to essentially recapping season 1 and 2. So this was early on in the days of Intoxicated. And I did that episode with my friends Corey and Evan. And it was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed doing it. So much so that we decided how cool would it be to have a separate Intoxicated podcast dedicated to TV and movies. And at that time, we decided what we would do is each week we would review and recap an episode of The Leftovers, because at the time, season 3 was just coming out. So we actually did an episode for every single episode of season 3 of The Leftovers. And this was between me, Corey, and Evan. And we kept going with it. We kept doing more TV and movie reviews. And eventually it got to be too much for me to do, running 2 podcasts a week. It was just insane. I knew that Corey loved doing it, and he knows so much about TV and movies. This was his thing. And so Corey then took over Intoxicated Reviews, which was amazing because he just ran with it and he made it his own. And it's been going ever since. It's actually going to be coming up pretty soon, probably on 2 years for that podcast as well. So this week we have Mr. Corey West from Intoxicated Reviews on the podcast. Now, Corey has done a bunch of Intoxicated episodes here and there. I believe at the end of 2017, we did a year in review, which was just he and I. that was very focused on TV and movies and pop culture. We did movie group episodes for a while there, where we essentially made fun of bad movies. He was also on the Christmas episode I did back in December, but this is the first true nitty-gritty intoxicated solo episode that Corey has done. So very low on the movie talk. I think we talk about it a bit, but nothing specific. It's more about him. So we really get to know Corey in this episode. It's really weird to interview a close friend. And also for a while now, we do Patreon bonus episodes as well, which are pretty casual episodes with Corey and I on Patreon. I think I just posted episode 20. So it was cool to switch gears and go full in interview on this one and dive deep into the mind and the life of Corey West. We talked about his childhood, his sort of more complicated family dynamics and how that shaped his life. And also we get into some really funny childhood stories. A lot of them are about growing up in a small town and drinking and injuries. It's really great. I've been wanting Corey to tell these stories on the podcast ever since I started it. So this episode was a long time coming, but I'm really glad it happened. I really hope you guys enjoy it and you get to know Corey more. Corey's doing awesome things on Intoxicated Reviews. He is always coming up with really cool segments to do based on various movies. He does a regular segment called 90s Proof with stand-up comedian Brian Thompson, who is one of the funniest comedians in the province. So it's pretty freaking great. He does a fantastic job on that podcast, and I'm so proud that we kept reviews going, and it's only going to get better going forward. So obviously, please check out that channel. It is a separate feed called Intoxicated Reviews, hosted by Corey, and he releases every Wednesday or Thursday. So guys, I hope you like it. I had a blast. I'm so thankful to have a podcasting partner in crime and such a good friend in my life. This episode was recorded really late at night, and it's a very long one, so I'm gonna just quickly let you know where you can find us on social media. That is Facebook and Instagram, Intoxicated Podcast, on Twitter, _Toxicated. You can check out our website. It is intoxicatedpodcast.com. You can email any questions or feedback to intoxicatedpodcast@gmail.com. Check out our Patreon page. That's patreon.com/intoxicated. We do bonus episodes, early access, and once we get more Patreons, we will be doing more stuff. So if you are interested, you can donate anywhere from $1 to $20 a month to support the show. And of course, make sure you are subscribed to both this podcast and Intoxicated Reviews. You can leave an iTunes rating or review. That always is helpful. And spread the Intoxicated love by telling a friend about the podcast. Quick reminder that I am doing a comedy live stream on Saturday, April 6th. That's going to be a shit ton of fun. I'm working on confirming guests for that. Essentially, it's just going to be a party in my living room with a bunch of comedians and booze. What can go wrong? Probably a lot, but that's the joy of drunk live streaming, I guess. So do make note of that date if you want to check out the comedy live stream. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. At this point, you're just going to have to search Intoxicated on YouTube because we don't have a custom URL yet. Got to get to 100 subscribers for that. So subscribe on YouTube, please. That would be amazing. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this awesome episode with my podcasting partner and my good friend, Corey West. This is very serious.
Yes, be serious. We have company.
It feels like a bonus episode, and it's weird for me to treat it not like a bonus episode.
I know. You could get this all the time, really.
Headphones fell off.
I meant, like,
you
with Patreon, you can get this conversation all the time.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a plug for reviews and Patreon.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit. Welcome back to the Intoxicated Podcast, everybody.
Went really low for that one. Welcome back.
I wanted to do like some sort of really energetic intro for you, but I think we're both tired.
Yeah. Yes. It is a tired one. I was like, for the podcast, I always kind of build myself up, but I was like, if anybody heard me like 5 minutes ago, I was like, okay, you ready to do this? And then I feel like I have to be on.
I know. It's a little bit of a transition sometimes.
Yeah, it's all good though.
Yeah. Good. I actually start doing this thing where I record like a couple minutes of us just like, I'll just start recording while I'm chatting with a guest and like keep some of that in because it's actually sometimes like really good stuff.
Actually, it's hilarious.
I
do that with Bryant a lot too. I'll just start rolling way before he knows we're rolling. And some of the funniest things he says are before he thinks we're even rolling. So
I know, right?
Yeah.
We should just record people without their consent all the time.
Yeah, that's it.
That'll become our thing. We have such high morals here on Intoxicated. But guys, you probably know this guy more than likely.
Probably.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe
for
I don't.
one, you've done a lot of Intoxicated episodes. For two, your ad is on my show every week.
That's very true.
So if you fucking listen to Intox, like, you must know we're here with Corey West.
Boom.
Boom.
That's me.
I want to put an applause effect.
Oh,
or
nice.
maybe a boom. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll see how I feel when I'm editing.
Yeah, maybe just come up with a few different ones. See how it's.
I actually found this like YouTube playlist that's like sitcom noises.
Amazing. Oh, we may need a laugh track for this.
There's a laugh. Oh my god, a Chuck Lorre laugh track on Corey West's episode.
We should
be
just do
so ironic.
We should do totally a different episode with like comedians or the comedian live stream we're talking about, and then put in a laugh track in it and just make it as cheesy as possible.
Or the boobs.
Or like crickets.
Mm-hmm. I put one of the sounds in on the most recent episode when it was the episode with Shannon, when I was talking about my date, and she was like, ask me how the date went. And I put a record scratch, and then he wanted to just be friends, and then I put aww that sound.
In the past on Intoxicated Reviews, I've used a record scratch and I've used an applause, because Bryant literally said insert an applause in this spot.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I love. Oh, please stay on my lap. That would be amazing.
Yeah, my cat is.
If you just curl right up on there, I will not have any problem with that.
Bagels working your leg.
Oh my god, this is the best day. I'm just not gonna move because I'm enjoying this so much. Obviously, guys, like I said, you probably already know, but you're the host of Intoxicated Reviews. Intoxicated.
Yes, I took it over like the pirates in Captain Phillips.
I was gonna say Hook.
I like that podcast, because originally that podcast was started by you. I'm not in every episode.
Let's give them. Well, actually, first and foremost, we are drinking.
Oh yes, we are drinking.
And this was your choice, but I also feel like the choice of your diet.
Can I bring? Yes, I had to bring this up because it's so funny. Because we should also talk about that. I've been dodging the one-on-one like Intoxicated main episode
for over 2 years.
I know, yeah.
Fucker.
So I've been doing the bonus episodes, which you can get on Patreon. But I've been dodging these. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna have the best drink possible for that.
Yeah.
I was going all over. It's like, I really like Negronis. Negronis are amazing. Maybe I'll do beer because I love craft beer.
You do.
And then I was like, well, maybe I'll throw her for a curveball and do something like kind of really out there, like a Pink Lady, which I made one of those.
Ooh, what's a Pink Lady?
A Pink Lady is cream, egg white, but I usually don't use egg white, but old school bartending rules calls for egg white, grenadine, and gin.
That actually sounds delicious. The cream
tastes like
might
Fruit
not.
Loops.
Like, ooh, yum.
Yeah, we could do. Well, I usually do lactose milk anyway.
Oh, perfect. Because lactose milk tastes just like regular milk.
You cannot tell the difference. If you did a taste test, there's no difference.
That's
but
amazing.
with all that being said, I feel bad because I finally agreed to come on, and I have boring vodka soda with lime, and I have some mint as well,
which adds a great touch.
Yeah,
it's the Sarah drink, but you classified it.
I had to throw some type of spin on it because right now I'm doing keto, so all the fancy and fun drinks I can't have right now. So
which really sucks for you.
It really does. And the thing that's that kind of, I wouldn't say sucks, but kind of affects everything is I drink them like they're nothing. Like I go through them like crazy. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh shit, like I drank a lot last night.
Welcome to my life.
I know.
It's the best drink and the worst drink at the same time because it's so easy to drink. And it never upsets my stomach. Like I never get nauseous on it. Or anything. It's like, and it's like there's not a lot of calories in it too, which is good.
I'm so used to drinking like craft beer, so it's like I drink this like it is soda water, but it does have vodka in it. So
it does have the vodka.
Yeah, so I wish I could do something a little bit more out there, but
you know, that was the intent when I started the show. But I've come to realize that really it's just as long as there's booze.
Yeah, it just enhances the
experience,
the conversation. Oh, and also we have a crackling TV fire going.
Yes.
Let's see if I can get a little bit of this.
It's just. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's some crackle.
Yes.
Because even though it's spring, Corey's still treating it like it's Christmas time.
I hate Christmas.
I know you do.
If you listen to the podcast, you know I've been on 2 I hate Christmas rants on the podcast.
Do you know how many episodes you have done?
Well,
on my channel.
No. You don't know though either.
I mean, we could probably figure it out.
It'd be tough because you have to factor in the movie group as well, and those are
yeah.
So we did the Oscar episode. That was the first Intoxicated episode that aired. It wasn't the first recorded, but that was the Oscar, the first movie group Oscar episode.
Mm-hmm.
Then we each got a pick with the movie group, and we went once around through that. Plus,
wait, what were all the movie group episodes? This might be fun.
This may be fun. This may be tedious too. The first one was The Room, the very first movie group one, because I picked The Room,
which was the unintentional movie group one, because we weren't officially the
movie group. We kept being like, well, this is the movie group back. Hey, suggest new names for us, or we'll come up with a new one, and it just stuck.
Movie group,
which I kind of grew to love. That name. So it was The Room. It was Fantastic Foreskin. Oh, we drank Foreskin, but it was Fantastic Four. What was your first pick?
She's All That.
Was that your first pick?
I think.
Okay.
So Evan picked Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
What was Jen's?
Ernest Goes to Camp, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was Ernest Goes to Camp.
Yeah, that would be 3.
Yeah, and then maybe it was She's All That. Then we did a Reddit gets to pick the movie.
Double down.
And then it was actually surprisingly I put out there, I was like, I have a podcast, this is it. People upvote what movie you think we should do next, and usually self-promotion on Reddit gets you killed, but I got no negative, a lot of people.
Because it's almost like a discussion.
Yeah.
You're almost like creating a discussion around it. You should do that for reviews more. Because it worked. Yeah. It worked that time. It would probably work again.
Yeah.
Even if you just say we do this. Even if you made it a general post and just said, I have a podcast and we like to review bad movies.
Yeah.
Suggest your best bad movie.
Yeah.
And you could get a bunch of suggestions.
Yeah, that's very true. Or even a 90s movie because of 90s proof. But
90s or 80s.
Yeah. So that was the first go around. Then it came back to me and I did Birdemic.
So then we're at 6.
Then it was Evan.
And then Evan did Evil Bong. And then Jen did
Courage Mountain. And then was that it? I think that was it because we announced you announced we were going to do Tremors, but the movie group kind of disbanded a little bit after that.
Still think that has to happen somehow.
I'm almost going to steal that and put it on Top Shelf because I love
that needs to be a Top Shelf movie.
Yeah, I messaged you, I think, the other day, and I said the next Top Shelf one I've already picked out. So
are you gonna say it right here?
I can tell you what it's gonna be. Yeah, it's I want to do Clerks. So.
Oh, perfect! I've never seen Clerks.
I know, and
so that would be perfect.
I tried to get you to watch it, but then you had that what was it?
Well, first of all, you gave me a DVD, which those are archaic now.
That's very true.
What's the modern day equivalent of giving someone a DVD? Sending them a link to a streaming site?
I don't even know because people still kind of send links. I feel like it would be send somebody a WinZip file.
A WinZip.
That's what I feel like it would be. But it's I gave you the DVD and it was regionally locked for you or something.
I kept saying that I couldn't play in my region.
Yeah. Which was
and you were just like, I don't understand. We're both in the same region. How does this make any sense?
Yeah, so
Clerks, that's awesome. I've never seen Clerks. Well, but that actually. So and then
I watched. I think I originally said this in the first Top Shelf. I watched the movie Clerks and the movie Fight Club every week. I watched both of them for over 2 years. I watched them.
That's insane.
Yeah. I love those two movies, and I constantly just would watch them over and over and over again.
It's insane to me that I haven't seen them yet. I must have at some point, I forget, maybe.
I don't know. Clerks is not really it made Kevin Smith, but I feel like a lot of people haven't seen it. It's a very odd independent movie, but it kind of where like Fight Club made me fall in love with storytelling, but also the visual art of film.
Yeah.
Clerks made me fall in love with more so the storytelling and how characters and interactions mean a lot, because that movie, it's pretty poorly acted. Visually, it has not really a lot to offer, but like...
Isn't it black and white?
It's black and white. But it's just the dialogue is amazing, and it really made me appreciate that dialogue means so much to a movie. So and we'll get into that next time I
do Clerks.
Top shelf.
And I like the idea of, because with the Fight Club one, I hadn't seen Fight Club. You and Evan had and loved it.
Yes.
And I watched it for the first time the night before.
Yeah.
And like, it was just an interesting...
It was a
idea, like of someone seeing a movie that you love so much.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Yeah. And I think kind of why I held back on doing another top shelf. I really struggle over the movies. I say that I only have done one top shelf, but with Fight Club, there's so much to talk about because that movie, there's so much symbolism and like
theories.
Behind, like, and actually Fight Club today is kind of an amazing film to watch on like toxic masculinity. I don't know why I can't say that.
Yeah.
I can't say that word because I'm a male and my hormones won't let me say it right. But it's such a I think relevant movie to watch right now.
Hey, I have a surprise segment coming up later.
Oh, okay. Nice.
That I didn't tell you about. That I'm like, he's either gonna be really pissed at me,
great.
or he's gonna love it. No, you're not gonna be pissed. I don't think.
Nice.
I feel like if I was gonna piss you off, it would have happened already in our friendship. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think we're past that.
Friendship origin, though. We do normally do it. We've talked about it before.
Yeah,
but
we
met 2014.
Yeah, probably around there. Yeah. We kind of have. I guess our friends group is we have an extended friends group that kind of interacts, I guess.
Yeah. I just essentially started going to trivia. And you've been going to trivia for a long ass time.
Yeah, I couldn't even say how. Like it's been very, very long.
And you've seen many friend groups come and go.
Oh yeah,
from the weekly trivia.
Oh yes,
team.
Yeah.
What's that like for you? Is that weird?
It is kind of. It's more weird looking back on it because it's kind of. I don't know. It's literally like different friends groups that have come in and out because of different times. Like I think it all started with me and Norm, and funny enough, it started with me, Norm, and a friend of ours, Toph. But
holy crap, Toph was doing trivia too?
It all started on one night. I think Toph went the first night with me and Norm, and we went to Rock Bottom where trivia is, and that was like the first trivia group. And then Norm is the trivia host now. Like it's been like kind of like so weird that like he's gone from just playing to like being the host. And like there's been so many different teams. Like there's been teams that have been like me and like literally a couple on my team together, or like me and Norm went through a bunch of different teams. And for a while Norm went back to school, and then it was all his people he was going to school with and me. Like it's kind of an odd. When you really break it down, it's kind of a very odd
it's kind of poetic that you're the only steadfast person.
Yeah. I love trivia.
Like
which is funny too. I have a master list of pretty much all the names we've ever used for trivia.
Oh my God, that's insane.
Yeah, which that's over. Like it's got to be close to
'cause that's
10 years.
Three names for three. Yeah, three names each week.
Yeah,
because we do a different name for every round, which is kind of madness, to be honest.
Oh yeah, it's kind of insane.
So that's kind of unheard of, I think, in trivia.
Yeah, we had to tone it down because people started getting really offended by our team names.
Well, we're not so bad anymore, I don't think.
No, we're not.
Although
bad.
Norm refuses to read them every now and then.
Yeah, ones I don't even think are that bad. I wish I had an example off the top of my head. There's one that you wouldn't read, and I was like, what?
Was that the fuck? A Star Is
Stillborn? He read that one out.
I mean, what? I get it. Yeah. I get it.
I wish I had.
But still, it's not that bad.
Born Again. I'm trying to think of classic team names, not necessarily offensive ones, but ones that that I can come off the top of my head, like Boys to Menstruation, Born Again Christian Slater.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know. We had a bunch of hilarious ones. So.
And then what's odd too is that for so long, trivia was every week.
Mm.
Every single Tuesday.
I think it happens though. We had kind of usually, like I said, if you go over the trivia years, there's been times where people have dropped off and then it just kind of, I don't know, trivia just kind of fizzled out for a few weeks. Like
it happened. Weeks? It was 2 months.
Yeah, for us, it did fizzle out for a while. And
we went 2 months without going.
Yeah, but we're back. We're back at it.
We're back at it.
But Tuesday used to be the night. Like we go to trivia, drink, go across the street, drink till like 2. Like
seriously, almost every single week.
Yeah.
I don't know how I did that.
I know.
I did that working a job that was like way more intense than my job is now.
And you had to get up early, I think?
For early-ish.
Yeah.
A lot of times. But a lot of times I would purposely make my schedule so that I would be working at noon.
Nice. That's perfect.
On Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Because no one wanted the noon shifts. Everybody wanted like the 9 to 5.
And always Tuesday nights would be like, it could go like haywire. Like, yeah. That's a weird way of saying it, but like Tuesday night we could just be blitzed out of nowhere. Like just like.
And some were more chill.
Yeah.
Some were more drunken. We do cash-in nights.
Oh yeah, those are always.
Where we cash in our winnings on one night.
Yeah, we save all our gift cards we won from trivia and then literally cashing them in. Usually like I don't know how high it's gotten in the past. There's probably been some $700 nights, like just coupons and stuff. Like
it's insane.
Yeah,
I feel like it took you a while to be down with the Sarah.
I don't think so. No, we had a pretty. I don't know. I think
we connected over kind of Lost and podcast, kind of.
Yeah.
Also, oddly.
Yeah, no, I was fine. I think there was something like I feel like we had friends that were just like thought that we wouldn't like each other, kind of thing.
That happens to me way too much.
I know.
By the way, because Dan didn't think me and Andrew Vaughn would get along.
Oh well,
I'm just
awesome.
like, do people think I'm that unlikable?
I don't think it's unlikable. I think maybe personality clashes. Because I think back, I don't know. I think there's reasons why Dan probably thought you and Andrew wouldn't get along. But I mean,
I want to know what they are. I cannot wait to ask him someday.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like,
well, it's the same
I
thing
don't
that
get
probably
it.
like,
Me and Andrew are like really good friends now.
I think it's probably around the same reasons that like what was said on the podcast by the Boys Club on like High Button or whatever. It's probably like that's why he probably didn't think, because Andrew's hilarious, but he says what he wants to say, kind of thing.
Right.
Like he has an edgier humor, so I think maybe that's why. But I don't know. Who knows? But we've talked about it in the past. Like I'm a first impressions person, a very heavy first impressions person. Like if I don't like you when the first time I meet you, chances
it's intimidating as fuck.
Just the way I like it.
Have you always been that way?
Yeah, probably. I'm pretty much. I don't know. First impressions are big with me. They always have been big with me.
But what if someone's drunk or like sad or like having a bad day? Like that's not the accurate portrayal of a person.
I don't. Who are you, like lobbying for somebody? Like, have I done somebody wrong, kind of thing?
I don't think so, actually.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It depends. I usually don't meet too many people that are like hammered. I'll save my first impressions when I feel like I got an accurate gauge on the person, but it's just. I think I'm a pretty good judge of character, and I'm a pretty good first impressions person. And I think there's a lot to be said about somebody's personality of what they show you like right out of the gates.
That's actually very true.
Because if a lot of people, and I probably do it too, but if they meet you for the first time, people want to convey something to you. Usually, if they meet you. So, and sometimes that's not fake, but that's not real. It's like they're kind of putting on a demeanor that's a little bit put on, which is fine. But I think I can tell from first impression demeanor what type of personality you are. Like if you're trying to impress me, then you're an insecure person. If you're trying to be like an asshole to me right out of the gates, and I don't think I'm an asshole to people right out of the gates. I was like, oh, you're trying to like be an alpha around me. Like, I don't know. It's just it's stuff like that. Like, and it's a case to case thing. But and maybe I'm wrong, but that's I feel like I can tell a person how they are just by the way they act the first time.
You can sense genuineness.
Yeah. Because I think there was a guy, and I can't remember his name, and I won't say it on the podcast if I remember, but there's one guy that came out that was a friend of, I think, Danielle's and a friend of yours.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And people didn't think I like him because he was very loud or whatever, but I'm like, no, he's being a genuine person, and he was very nice. But he was loud and having a good time, and people were like, "Oh, well, you must hate him." I'm like, "No, he was a very genuine person. He's very nice."
Are you only saying that because he bought you drinks?
No, I didn't remember they brought me drinks. Yeah. No, I've hated people that have bought me drinks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Sorry, I don't know if this purring's coming.
Oh no, it's fucking adorable.
That's my cat purring.
Oh, he's such a daddy's boy.
He's a huge daddy's boy. He basically right after I got him, Jen went away for like a week, and so he really bonded with me. So now he's pretty much my cat.
He's such a little. We should say Harry is a Sphinx cat.
Yes.
And you've had Harry for how long?
Almost a year, like 8 months or something like that. Now he we got him because Jen is severely allergic to cats. Turns out she is severely allergic to him and has to take a bunch of pills to be around him anyway, but we're keeping him. He's way too cute.
I don't like it when people are like, I'm allergic to cats, so I'll never. It's like there's ways around it.
Yeah. Well,
you can do it.
That's why we got a Sphinx cat, because we're like, oh, allergic to the dander in the hair. Nope, she is allergic to the saliva, which we did not know.
Saliva.
Did not know.
Because for some people, it's the cat scratches. Like when the cat scratches you or something.
Well, I think that's. I don't think people are allergic to cat scratches. The things with cat scratches, what I've heard is that it's because they're in their litter box, so they have bacteria on their claws. So when they scratch you, that's like you it's like called cat scratch fever. Like you can get an infection, or it just gets really red almost instantly. But
did you grow up with pets?
Yes, I always had dogs. Like it's like there's pictures of me as like 4 or 5 with like we used to have these 3 German shepherds, and yeah, I've always had dogs. Like,
oh wow,
growing up, I've always had cats and dogs. Like my
at the
mom.
same time.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is terrible to say, but there's always cats, there's always dogs, but I kind of like I love my cat now. Harry's amazing. He's my cat, but I don't technically want pets anymore. I'm kind of over pets. Just because I don't know, as a kid, I don't know why. I guess it's my personality. I overthink everything. Everything I do, I overthink. So I look at him and I'm just like, I love you so much. You're going to break my heart so bad one day when you pass away. And I can't get past, like as a kid, I feel like I've just traumatized that I've had so many pets and so many pets die that I'm like, oh, I don't really want to go through that anymore.
Yeah.
But this little guy, he's amazing. I'm glad I have him. But like, yeah, I've had dogs. I've had cats. I had a snake.
You had a snake?
I had an albino corn snake.
Holy shit, I never knew this.
Yeah, it was red and white. It was me and my old roommates. I used to live with this girl, and we had and I say live with this girl like we were just roommates, but yeah, we had an albino corn snake.
I would die if you were like, we were in a polyamorous relationship. Like you just dropped this bomb that's like so out of nowhere.
Yeah, not quite. We had this albino corn snake, so it was red and white with red eyes.
Ooh, crazy.
Sanji, and it was it was awesome. The only thing that's kind of the one thing I didn't like, I didn't mind so much because I didn't have to feed it live mice because I couldn't do that. Like I love animals too much, but we used to have to feed it fetal mice. So it's basically like fetal mice, like
not developed,
like a not fully developed mouse fetus.
Jesus Christ.
And you can buy them at the pet store, but you have to keep them refrigerated. So we'd have people over and they'd be like, what is this? And I'd be like, oh my God, you have a bag full of fetus mice. And it's
God.
Yeah. So
you got to label that shit correctly.
Yeah, exactly.
Please do not touch or open. Avoid at all costs, please.
Yeah. But I mean, where I lived in Liverpool, like we had 8 acres. So we always had pets, like dogs that
Country
would run here.
boy.
Kind of. I mean, I'm from Montreal, but I grew up in Liverpool.
How long did you live in Montreal?
Till I was 5, but I used to go back every summer for a long time. Like, I spend my summers there.
Do you remember much about it?
Oh, yeah. I still remember. I mean, to get really deep into, I guess it's pack.
Been waiting for this for 2 years.
Yes, that's it. I guess my life is like, I don't know. My family situation is a little weird, and it's like I say all these things and then I have to explain them because they won't make sense to the regular person. But I was creating a test tube, and I'm just kidding. My mom, my biological mother, had me when I was very young.
When she was very young.
When she was very young, yeah. I was very young too when I was conceived. And had me, and basically she was going to university, and she's like, I don't think I can care for me, myself.
Mm-hmm.
So she basically gave me to my grandfather to be like, can you take care of him? My grandfather at the time had a girlfriend, and they took care of me for a long time. And then I kind of went back and forth a little bit. Like, I would go back with my mom, and then I would go with my grandfather and his girlfriend, and back with my mom. And eventually I went back with my grandfather and his girlfriend, and they were like, okay, like, we're gonna get custody of you. I always tell people,
this is it. This is like
we're not doing this. Like,
right.
We've kind of raised them a lot. So that caused some obvious tension in my family. But he was because also you got to figure the factor in. My grandfather, he had my mom's mom and my mom's father, it was my grandfather, my grandmother, they were separated. So, and I don't know, my grandfather, he's the first to say he was a railroad man, and he slept around quite a bit and stuff. And so I don't think their divorce was too amicable.
Right.
But so they didn't really like each other. And then so it kind of drove a wedge more between my family. Like me, I drove more of a wedge because it became eventually, because my grandfather was like, okay, like me and my girlfriend, who is Nikki, who is, well, I'll talk more about her once keep talking about, sorry. But
yeah,
it basically, he's like, okay, we're not doing this back and forth. We raised him most his life. We're going to get like legal guardianship, I think it's called.
Okay.
So yeah, so there was kind of court battle, and there was always like, it was weird as a kid because I would live in this kind of world of like my grandfather and his girlfriend being like if somebody shows up, maybe they'll try to like kidnap you and take you back.
Oh my God.
And stuff. Like I lived, and I don't know how much of that was true or not true.
Were you scared as a kid? Did that freak you out?
Not really. I don't remember it freaking me out.
Right.
At all. So, and I should say I never knew my father as well. So, I mean, that's kind of a...
Can I ask a question about that? And you don't have to answer if you don't want to.
No.
But what were you told about him?
Nothing really I was told about him. My mom one day said, like, she's like, if anything you want to know about him, you can know about him. And I was like, okay. And I was like, tell you the truth, I really don't care. It's weird. Like a lot of people like Jen and I don't know, feel like always kind of bring up, and not in a bad way, but they feel like, and I get that, like people have father issues or like abandonment issues, but the great thing about my life is that, and I'll talk more about it, but well, to quickly set it up, like I said, my family life is kind of,
you need
really
a flow chart.
up.
We need to make a flow chart for them.
So eventually, I will say my grandfather and his girlfriend got legal guardianship of me. And I say my grandfather's girlfriend because I consider her my like mother as well. She's not my biological mother, but she raised me.
She did, yeah.
And even after my grandfather and her separated, they were still extremely close, but I stayed with her. Like she became the person who raised me. And so she had kids from a previous marriage. So, and I always consider them my brothers and sisters, even though they're significantly older than I am. they're my brothers and sisters. So,
Right.
where was I going to go with this?
How many?
Oh, okay.
How many
so,
siblings?
So I have, from my biological mother, I have a sister, I guess a half sister, but a sister. And through my mom, my legal guardian mom, Nikki, I have a brother and a sister.
Right.
So this was back to my point about the father thing. Like, people are always like, do you have abandonment issues? Is there something that like you don't have a father? And I was like, tell you the truth, no, because my grandfather was basically raised me. Like,
right. He was that father figure.
He was that father figure that was like cool, but he was also like the disciplinarian a little bit, but he wasn't like that bad, but he was like a father figure. But my brother from my guardianship side, he was older than me, but he did the father things. Like, he did the catch, and he did I'll take you to like go see wrestling at the Forum in Montreal, or I go take you see hockey games. Like, he filled that void. And I was like, I don't care who my dad was. Like, he's probably in a tough situation as well. Like, I don't know what I would do in that situation. He was probably very young as well, and whatever. And that's the thing too. I don't hold any ill will towards him, but I was like, I don't care because I never had that void. I always had a father figure in my life. I don't necessarily need a father. Like, I never had that. I'm just like, no, it's cool. I've always had my grandfather. I've always had my brother Bobby. Like, I didn't
You didn't miss
void.
that influence because you had those influences.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. And I pretty much I kind of accidentally saw who he is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was, I think, like, all signs point to, I'm 99% sure it was him. But a couple years ago, my mom and my sister came to visit me in Halifax, and we took a picture, and then that picture was put online, and then somebody liked it, and then I looked at who liked it, and the guy looked pretty much identical to what I looked like.
What the fuck? I never knew about this.
Yeah, but I never contacted him or anything. I was like, okay, cool. Like,
but you remember the name?
I do, yes.
Okay,
yeah.
do you still creep?
No. I saw him that one time. I think I creeped him one other time. I was just like, I wonder.
What was that like though? Like honestly though, like that's insane.
I don't know. I feel like sometimes I'm like kind of a robot when it comes to stuff like that. Like, to be 100% honest, it didn't really affect me at all. I was like, he doesn't look as wealthy as I would like him to be. That's terrible to say.
I think the thing is with like when you don't know who your dad or mom is, there's always that thing of like, do I have half siblings out there that I've never like? Yeah, that's a thing with a lot of people, right? They wonder about that. Like,
I guess, yeah. I never really. I think I probably thought about it here and there, but I don't know. I have my family, and I'm cool with that. Like, I don't know. I don't need that. I mean, that being said, excuse me. If it'd be probably cool to be like, oh yeah, I do have brothers and sisters, but I don't know. It doesn't plague me. If I don't really think about it.
Well, that's kind of good in a way.
Yeah. So back to the whole legal guardianship thing, and it was kind of a situation where, like I said, like I was all, and I think that was kind of 80s panic. Like especially like Nikki, my guardian mom, she probably was just like watched too many unsolved mystery cases and was just like, oh, make sure they don't like come and kidnap you or whatever.
Right.
Because I think, and I remember her telling me that as well recently. Well, I shouldn't say recently. She passed away last year, but
somewhat recently.
Yeah, I shouldn't even said recently, but before. But she'd always be like, if I never won that case of legal guardianship, I probably would have put you in a car and we would have drove away together. Yeah. And at the time, it was like, I was young, but old enough to, I remember having to talk to a judge and stuff and tell them what I wanted. And I was like, I want to stay with my grandfather. I want to stay with Nikki. That's kind of what I want.
But like when you said that like they separated or whatever.
Yeah.
Were you were still somewhat close with your grandfather?
Oh yeah, he was still always in the picture, and they were close too. They were just kind of.
Oh okay.
Their relationship ran its course.
Were they like friends?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
okay.
Pretty much.
That's really good.
Yeah, and to this day, my grandfather still talks about that. I don't know. Like, it's one of those things. He's like, she's the one woman that I've loved for my whole life. And which is terrible because he's with somebody right now and he says it right in front of her. Yeah. So anyway.
But you do hear that a lot, though.
Yeah. So I don't know. They're very similar. I think because their personalities are so similar, they're very strong, headstrong people that they just probably butted heads way too much. And
and sometimes it's better just not to be in a relationship, but still hold that like mutual respect for one another.
Yeah.
And like friendship almost.
Yeah. But like I said, like my old, like that family situation, like I was kind of like one piece in kind of something that like drove a wedge between my family a little bit. And there was some weird, like, I don't know, like there's some shots fired when you're in a situation like that, like kind of two sides fighting over me. But like I had an uncle, my grandfather's only son, to a great uncle, who died in a car accident really young. Okay, this is going to turn into kind
I don't even know about this stuff.
Oh,
this
yeah. I mean, I have like, I don't know, this is weird. Like, it's going to go back. This is so confusing. It's like a Game of Thrones thing. I have to explain this as well. It's weird. So I had a great uncle who died very young. He was best friends with my brother Bobby on Nikki's side. Like,
okay,
the families are very close for up to a point. And so my brother now was best friends with my mom's brother. Yes.
Okay.
He died very young. And so there was always a bone of contention with one side of the family being like, well, you're taking him away because you feel the loss of your son and you want this son. And that's why you're doing it. So there's that. And like, it's a ton of stuff, not to get too deep in my family history. Like my grandfather had 3 daughters and one son. One son died in a car accident. One of his daughters, believed to have killed herself, jumped in front of a train.
Oh my God.
It's still one of those things being like, she could have been pushed, but I don't know. It's so that kind of drove a wedge of the family. But I mean, recently everything's been kind of mended. My grandfather is now back on speaking terms with my mom and also my aunt. So it's good. I mean, but yeah, it was a lot of tragedy. Like I think more than like caring who my father and stuff was for years growing up, I kind of carried a little bit of a guilt with me that I was the reason that two sides of my family were like split down the middle.
We're at odds.
Yeah,
fighting.
And it's kind of weird too because, and not that, I don't know, it doesn't factor in greatly, but a little bit. Like I'm the only really biracial child in that family. Like I'm half black, half white.
Shit.
Everybody like I should say like my guardian side, they're all white. Mm-hmm. But I'm talking about like my West family side. That was like they're all black. I was the only like biracial kid. Even my sister, she's my half sister, but she's 100% like African Canadian. So it's
interesting.
So and like it's weird because being half black as I am, I've had to deal with like racism, but there's been times within my own family and not my immediate family, but like parts of my family where it's like, I feel like people didn't accept me because I wasn't 100% black in my own family. So
that's some fucked up shit. Though.
Yeah, it's weird. And not like really anything bad, but just like there was a, like, I don't know, there's definitely some reverse racism there. And just, I don't know, like, I don't know why, but so yeah.
People don't always think about that.
Yeah.
That side of it, if you're half black and half white.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny too, like my Nikki, who was my guardian, her family's like from Cape Breton, and a lot of them are awesome, like really good, but like she had a side of her family, like her father was like very racist, and that was kind of trickled down into like the brothers. But so like when she shows up with like my grandfather who's black, there's a whole different dynamic there. Like, and there was always I won't say his name, but it's kind of a funny story. But like one of her brothers really didn't like my grandfather. And for the most part, all the other brothers didn't mind. Like Nikki had sisters, they didn't mind. Like for the most part, there was only like a couple. Like she had a pretty big family. But like I think one of the funniest stories I ever told. So one of her brothers, like who didn't like my grandfather, who was like supposed to be racist. She brought me to like Cape Breton one year, and she said like I don't remember this. She told me a story later, but told the story that like this one brother was really drunk and he dropped the N-bomb out of like nowhere. And then like I wasn't old enough to even know what like words are, or like I could barely understand words. And then he looked at me and he started crying. He picked me up and started kissing me. And he was like, "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say it." Like, so he just like, it was just inherited down to him. I don't think he really was. And it's weird like that. Like I've kind of grown up with seeing racism from both sides, being biracial, which is kind of weird. And so I don't know. It's kind of an interesting way. Like it definitely puts a lot of today's racism and discrimination against any race, sex, like it puts in perspective for me. I think that's why I feel like I'm a very open person. Like if like sex is, if you're like any sexual orientation, I don't care. Like
you are.
I've grown up around a lot of discrimination, so I don't want to waste my time on it.
That's some craziness. Yeah. What about your biological mother?
Yeah.
What was that relationship like throughout the span of all this? Like in terms of like, did you communicate a lot?
Not really a lot. It was not really a lot. Like it's kind of funny to think now, but like after the whole family thing, like obviously I had things to get over because I am on one side of this family. Like the people that raised me that I really remember were my grandfather and Nikki. So, and like I said, I had to go in front of a judge. I had to talk to a judge and I had to be like, I want to be with Nikki, my grandfather. And because that drove a wedge between everything, I didn't have too much contact with her. I used to go back to Montreal in the summers and every once in a while, like I'd see her, but like I said, people were scared, like, and overreacting. I like that shouldn't shine anything on my biological mom because I don't think she had any intention of like kidnapping me. Right. But there was always that tension there with our family. So I would see her sparingly. Like I don't know if they really wanted me or like going anywhere with her for long periods of time. I always have to kind of like check in and stuff like that. So like our relationship was very on and off. And then kind of as I grew older, we were more contact with each other. When I first moved to Halifax, she came up to visit me and we kind of, I think, rekindled our relationship.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And we talk fairly regularly right now. Actually, she just went in for surgery, so I hope she's doing good. But me and also like her and my sister are in Montreal now. She was in Texas for a while, so I didn't really get to see her obviously there, but when she moved back to Montreal, we communicate a lot more over the phone and like Facebook and stuff. Facebook has kind of been a wonder. Like we get to see each other and like, so we talk here and there. And I mean, I kind of think I need to, I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm terrible at getting back to people. But we've built up a good relationship again, so
that's freaking good.
Yeah, and they always like send me gifts on my birthday and stuff.
Oh, that's nice.
Her and my sister, like my sister's awesome. Like they've been up a few times up here. Like we really probably the most connecting we did and really was my grandmother died like quite a few years ago now, and so that's when they first came down. That's when they came down for the funeral. That really kind of like. We had our bond again. So yeah, we talk all the time. Like, it's funny. Jen told me, kind of let it go by accident that my mom calls her and talks to her online.
Really?
To check up on me. Yeah. So yeah, no, I love my mom. I love my sister. I'm hopefully I can go up there. They can get down here soon. But yeah, I mean, so everything, it's good. Like, my relationship, like her relationship with her father, like my grandfather, they've mended that over the years and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been, I mean,
that's some intense shit though.
Yeah.
It's so crazy when you're friends with someone you don't really know.
Yeah, I mean,
all the details.
Yeah, it's not
You've
something.
You've always been pretty hush hush about your family stuff.
Yeah, I mean, not for any reason, but I never really think about it, I guess. And it's not something I can bring up in casual conversation, but
well, people who have these like unique family situations, it's weird. Like they're kind of forced into like figuring things out like on their own in a weird way. Yeah. And then you build your own family, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's kind of funny because my wife, Jennifer, she comes from like the nuclear family. Like her family's like
very traditional, separations.
No separations, like no like drama, like her parents are awesome. They're super just clean cut people. very religious, just clean cut people, hardworking. She has a sister. Like she comes from almost a perfect family. And then I was like, well, wait till I tell you about mine. Mine's like a fucking hurricane.
What's that like though? So you meet Jen.
Yeah.
Your wife.
Yes.
And very different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And were you raised religious at all?
No, I wouldn't say I was raised religious. I've been kind of exposed to a lot of different religions, I guess, growing up. Like my grandfather's on again, off again. I think he's back on again, Baptist. But like Nikki was like raised Catholic.
Oh, okay.
So like
you've been exposed to a couple, but like, were you like, did you have to go to church all the time?
Well, no, but after I started stopped going to Montreal for my summers, I used to go to St. John, New Brunswick. And it's fun as a kid. And I would stay with my cousins, who I'm very close with, almost like brothers, like Chris and Mike. And I would stay with them. I guess, yeah, they're anyway, it's like my grandfather's brother's kids. Mm-hmm. And my aunt. So my my aunt Helen and my uncle David. And Helen's awesome. She's born again. She's born again Christian, so she's Baptist as well. And so every summer I used to go there every summer in St. John after a while, and I would have to go to church three times a week.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think it was 3 times. And David never went, my uncle, even though, but if I was with Helen, if I was staying there, I had to go. And I went to Bible camp. Like, that's a story in itself.
Oh, Bible camp.
Yeah.
Man, things tend to go down at Bible camp whenever people tell me, whenever Bible camp comes up. I'm like,
yeah. So I guess I can tell the quick.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
Breaking my toe story.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
So I went to Bible camp. It was a really nice camp. It was like they had horses, like it was huge. And they had this big chapel where they had rooms and like the mess hall and everything. But the girls and guys couldn't fraternize.
Question about that. Did that make it more intriguing? Like, you're young boys.
Yes.
And, okay, what age is this?
God.
I'm bad with ages too.
I'm really terrible at ages. Crap. I'll say 15, 16.
Around puberty age though, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe older?
Slightly older? No, I was probably around puberty age.
But like, what's that like? Like you're not allowed to like see the girls, so you're just like, ooh, what are girls like? Like, does that make it worse? Like, I would think that it would, but I don't know. Shit.
You tell you the truth, not really, because it may be a little tough for myself, but I would go to Bible camp because my cousin went to Bible camp, but I wasn't necessarily that religious. But like by trade, for lack of a better term, I'm agnostic, which is like basically the lazy man's atheist. But that's a community joke, I think. So I wasn't religious, but it wasn't like a bunch of rebellious kids there. It was pretty Christian Baptist kids. Like they weren't, yeah, kind of, but it was a fun time. But kind of like the girls are very like there was no rebels. I don't think ever. Like I was probably the biggest kind of rebel there, which maybe God eliminated me from the equation that week is because I was like the outsider.
I love this. Okay. Keep going with the story.
So basically, we get there. So the girls get to stay up in like where the chapels are, and it's like they have full bathrooms and like these very nice ones, and the mess hall and everything. Like, anyway, the boys have to stay in these cabins that are across. There's a little pond, but they're across the pond in these log cabins. So what happened? I guess a week before everybody showed up to camp, a skunk went and sprayed the whole area. So it stank. It stank terrible. These old rickety cabins. So we had to stay in these cabins. On the first day on the first day I was there, I was eating a Wonder Bar, and I started choking and had to get the Heimlich maneuver for my cousin. I almost choked to death. Second day, there was a polar bear dive. I jumped in the water. Somebody jumped in after me, kicked me in the face by accident, knocked me out underneath the water.
Oh my God.
I had to be dragged out. Third day, I was on a top bunk in the bunk bed. I jumped off the bunk bed. My foot landed almost like straight down. I broke my big toe, and the bone popped out of the skin and knocked my toenail out from the back. It was only being held on by 2 pieces of skin on the front, but the bone was like just totally on the bottom of the popped my toenail out.
Jesus.
So
I've heard this story probably 5 times, and it's still, I can't handle it still.
My foot is squirting blood. It's ridiculous. I don't scream. I didn't yell. I instantly went into shock, like just total shock.
Like you just like
nothing, like deadpan.
I don't understand what that is.
It's
like
it's totally hard to explain, but it's the only time I think I've ever been in shock, and it is weird. Like it's just this weird calm. Like it's like I think I'd never been on it, but it's like I think like Prozac. Like it's just like it's. I don't know if it's like a genetic. Like a genetic way of dealing with extreme pain, but
right. Well, your brain is like, your brain's probably firing shots, being like, no, nothing's wrong, you're fine. To help you deal with it.
We're all waking up. I sit down next to my cousin who's in a cot, and he's just waking up. Like he's just kind of like staring up and rubbing his eyes, like any good movie wake up has going on, and I was like, Chris, I think I broke my toe. And he's like, why do you think you broke your toe? And I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm staring at the bone. And he's like, what? And he sits up in his cot and looks down and like starts like, oh my God. Like so everybody's panicking. And the floor is sloped. And I'm bleeding a lot. And it's just like a puddle of blood in the middle of the floor. And I'm like losing blood at an extremely fast rate. And so it's weird. We had this, and I don't know. We had this counselor that obviously had to stay with us in these log cabins. He was like a really old dude, like an older dude. I'm like, in hindsight, I'm like, weird to have an old dude staying in a cabin with all these young boys. But I guess you would have to. Like, who knows what we could get up to.
This podcast is supposed to go dark.
Yeah, no.
Corey starts remembering things.
So he's like, oh shit, we got to get you into like the chapel so we can pray for you. No, I'm just joking. No, that's a joke. He's like, we gotta get you in there so we can like get you to the hospital. We'll have to get somebody to drive. So he literally has to carry me like a groom carries his bride to into the chapel or whatever. In the main building, I should call it. It's not just chapel. And I could hear like all the girls getting up because like he had to walk across a bridge that's over a pond and he's carrying me and I could hear girls laughing and then I get really close and then I think they could see how ravaged my foot was and I just hear them like one by one all these girls start screaming above me. And
God.
So I don't know. This is the worst place to put a kid. They put me in the mess hall where they're prepping food. Like, I'm bleeding like crazy. They put me on top of the freezer. They sit me on top of the freezer, and it's kind of against the wall, so I'm leaning against the wall with my foot up. And they put a plastic bag on my foot because I'm bleeding everywhere. So the bag is just filling with blood. And
Jesus Christ. Need a warning on this episode.
Yeah. So, and keep giving me, like, toast with butter on it. And they're like, eat this. Keep your strength up. Keep your strength up. And they keep saying, like, you got to eat this. You got to keep your strength up. And I go, okay, like, cool. I'll eat as much toast as you want me to eat. Can you put some jam or something peanut butter? Like, I just don't want to eat buttered toast. Like,
you know what? I love some buttered toast when I'm feeling sick, though.
Yeah.
Some bland, like when your stomach's upset, it's actually really fucking good.
So, get this. I'm bleeding to death. And
death. I mean, that's a bit extreme.
I was losing a lot of blood. Like, I really was. And so I was like, okay, like, all right, am I going to the hospital? And like, yeah, you're going to the hospital. there's another girl who has to go to the hospital. I'm like, we're just getting her ready. And I was like, oh, crazy, what happened? And they're like, oh, we think she had like an allergic reaction to fly bites. She's just taking a shower. She won't be much longer. And I was like,
clearly not that urgent.
I know. I'm just like, I'm bleeding.
They need to work on their prioritizing a bit.
And I guess it was like a long drive. I couldn't really remember how long, but we were in like the middle of like nowhere. So there's
where was this again?
It was in St. John, but outside St. John
like
somewhere.
Buckfoot, nowhere.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you where it was. But anyway, so drive me to the hospital, and I'm still in shock. They put me in a wheelchair. They like admit me. For some reason, I guess I wasn't thinking straight. I just started wheeling around the hospital and get lost, and I could hear people paging like, is Corey West, blah, blah, blah. And then be like, if anybody sees a like kind of wheelchair with a plastic bag on his foot, like, please bring him here. And like finally like a nurse found me and was like, okay, you're going in for surgery. And so I remember, it's so weird. Like it happened so long ago, my memory's kind of shit, but I can remember the room they put me in. They put me in this really huge, sterile, like operating room, but it was only like 2 nurses. One of the ladies from the camp came with me, obviously had to, and she was in the room with me, and she was holding my hand. And the doctor came in and was like, okay, here's what we're going to do, Corey. We have to set the bone, so we have to put the bone and he's like, okay, so that's fine. He's like, you don't have, like, it was because it's terrible, like the bone came out of skin, so my skin was cut across the back of my toe where my cuticle was. So it's like, it's not cut that bad. We're going to tuck the bone in, set the bone. We're going to retuck your nail underneath the skin that you have. We're going to take a burning tool, and we're going to burn 2 holes in the back of your toenail because your toe is still stuck on the front. We're going to burn 2 holes in the back of your toenail, and we're going to stitch your toenail back down to your foot. And then we have to stitch the side a little bit.
Dear God.
So I was like, okay, cool. Like, do what you have to do, doc. He's like, because he wanted the protection of my toenail kind of thing, I guess, with my broken bone. I don't know. I would have much rather probably just rip it off. But I was like, okay, cool. So he burned. So he doesn't do it right away. The only time in that process I felt extreme pain is getting 5 needles in the bottom of my big toe. That is the most, like, I was like, and I remember the ladies, like, the woman who came with me from the camp was like, squeeze my hand if it hurts. And I was like, I was doing everything in my power not to squeeze her hand because I would have broke it. She was a very nice, frail older woman. But I was like, it was some of the most pain I've ever felt because it's just like hard skin with a needle getting put through it. So they numbed it. They did all that, burnt 2 holes in the bottom. I can still smell that. Stitched my toenail down. They didn't put me out for this.
Do you think, would they normally put someone out for it?
No, but I was like, I would have appreciated it. Anyway, so they stitched me up. It was fine. I had to stay with my uncle and my aunt while my cousins were at Bible camp for the rest of the week. I was only there for like 3 days.
That is just wow.
Yeah.
Like all of the things that happened to you.
Yeah.
The sequence of events.
And when the freezing came out and I was out of shock, I don't think I've ever been in that much pain.
Really?
It was
broken toe. Shit.
Bad. Well, it was bad because they burnt 2 holes in. They'd stay like compound fracture. It was like everything. My toe just felt like somebody was stabbing it with a needle that was on fire. Like,
I will say, I stepped on a nail once as a kid.
Oh yeah.
That's really, I still think about that as one of the most painful things.
I was one time as a kid, I was riding a dirt bike and I ran over a plank. And the plank flipped up and with a rusty nail on one end and stuck right into my calf. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah. Also, I was babysitting a little girl one time and she was younger and she thought it'd be funny to throw a pitchfork at me and caught me in the back of my calf. And I have a huge scar on the back of my calf for her.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So anyway,
do you have a scar on your toe from all that?
No, you couldn't even tell that I broke my toe. Like the nail grew.
How long was the healing process?
I was on crutches for a while. It kind of ruined my summer. Oh, actually, that's actually funny too. Probably like 6 weeks, probably something like that. Like it was kind of weird because the recovery, like on that, I spent my whole summer in St. John, and I was on crutches for most of it. But the swelling went down enough near the end of the last little bit I stayed there. I went to Magic Mountain with a
Magic
broken.
Mountain. Can we just talk about the fact that like for I think 3 years in a row,
More than that.
we kept wanting to
go to
plan a Magic Mountain trip,
Yeah.
and it's never happened.
So with a broken toe, I went to Magic Mountain, and I had a water slipper on so I could do all the stuff, and so we went to Magic Mountain like near the end of my vacation in St. John, and I tore my elbow open on the kamikaze.
Jesus fuck! How the fuck?
I know.
Well, okay. First of all, that water slide should be illegal.
I don't think they. Oh no, I think it's still there. But
How the fuck is that a legal thing? That
kamikaze, yeah.
That water slide.
Well,
It's going straight down, right?
Yes.
How is that legal?
I literally, it was my fault because you're supposed to go down like that coffin, cross your arms across your chest, and I put my elbow down and it just ripped the skin out. Also, I was in the wading pool and a little kid shit in there. A turd just like floated by.
I was just thinking, I'm like, that's Magic Mountain in a nutshell.
Yeah.
To me, it's that and like Band-Aids and water. It's pretty disgusting, but like in the best way possible.
Yeah.
You
Also,
know?
well, in the St. John trip, it wasn't that year. Another year, there's this place everybody swims called the Res, as in the reservoir.
Ooh.
So it's real dirty. And one year I went and swam in that, and my eyes swelled shut for like a day.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I've been a rough go at it.
How the hell are you not dead?
I don't know. I'm on borrowed time for sure. But yeah, that's
madness. What about high school? I mean, obviously I want to get Brian on here to talk about
we'll have
high
me
school
and Brian
stuff.
from Intoxicated.
But I want you to paint me a picture of what you were like in the high school years.
In high school years, I would describe myself as the quiet guy in the popular jocks group. Like
the one I would hate the least.
Probably. We were, because I know it's like the jocks are always assholes. I don't think we were that big of assholes.
They never think, well, you know what? It's true though, because even when I think of high school, I'm like, there were definitely jock assholes, but then there were other guys that were legit nice guys.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where you fell.
It came in a weird time. Like, I feel, especially at my school, everybody's, for the most part, all the groups got along. Like, there was no we were the jocks, but I don't think like anybody gave a shit. Like nobody gave a shit about sports. So it's just kind of like, oh, that's just another group, but they're not.
Did you drink underage?
Yes.
What? Oh, I ask this to almost every single guest. What was that like the first time that you got drunk? What was that like? And what did you drink? Do you remember it?
I know one time that may sound ridiculous, but the first time I got drunk, I guess I wouldn't remember it, but it was probably when I was around 4.
What?
I wouldn't remember.
I was not expecting that. I was expecting 14.
Yeah, no, 4.
What? No.
I stole a beer. They're having a party, and I drank it, and I guess I threw the biggest temper tantrum that has ever been seen.
You were an angry drunk.
Yeah.
Already.
But the first one I remember, I was probably about going back. That's I would say I was probably about 13.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Stole a bottle of creme de menthe.
Creme de menthe.
And me and my friend drank the whole bottle and then proceeded to puke green.
Oh, well, that would be one of the worst things that you could.
Yeah, but it's one of the things, like, it's one of the only things I think I could have stolen drank at that age, because it's like, ooh, this tastes like mint and sweet. And then it's like, oh, this is terrible for you.
Right.
But,
fuck. Oh.
Funny enough, I kind of remember more. I remember the first time I did shrooms. I remember the first time I smoked weed too. Yeah, I remember the first time. The first time I did shrooms is a pretty interesting story too. So,
ooh, I want it. You're such a good storyteller.
Thank you. I ramble a lot, but so I did shrooms with a bunch of my friends. I don't know if I should name them, but.
Name them.
No, but
we're over the hour point, so
we did a bunch of shrooms, and classic thing like, hey, like we did shrooms, like they're not kicking in. Fuck it, let's go to a bar. Like, and so, so we went to a bar, and instantly when I walked in the bar, I'm like, oh shit, they've kicked in full blast. I should not be in public.
What was that like? Them kicking in?
It was, everything went green. Everything was
like a green filter?
Yes. Like everything was a shade of green.
It was almost like you're reviewing the world through like a St. Patrick's Day pair of glasses.
Basically, yes.
Interesting.
Everything was green. Everything was a shade of green. And I could just feel my chest. Like, it was like somebody was inside my chest tickling me. Like, and it felt like it was amazing. Like, it felt like really crazy.
When you described that feeling, I just felt it.
Yeah.
And wow.
I know. It's awesome. The only bad negative effect I found was, I had to really concentrate hard on peeing. I didn't know how to pee. I had to concentrate on like, this is how you pee. This is like, release this.
See, that's hilarious to me because when I'm really high on weed, it's the opposite. I think I'm peeing everywhere. Like, I feel like I don't have control over my pee.
That's hilarious. So we went to this bar, which is called Alley 9 in Liverpool. And it's literally called Alley 9 because it's a bowling alley, and then it has 8 lanes, and the 9th lane is a bar. Like, it's just cut off.
Oh my God, Alley 9.
Yeah. It's not called that anymore, which is stupid because it still should be called
Does the bowling alley still exist?
Yeah. It's called Spirits on the Mersey or something. Something stupid. Like, Alley 9 was amazing. But that was like, it's kind of weird in Liverpool growing up. You had 3 bars that we would go to on like weekends and stuff. You had Lanes, which was the high class bar where all the mucky mucks went, and if you want to have a good time.
Mucky mucks?
Yeah, mucky mucks, like rich people, yuppies. For Liverpool. Like, that was kind of the high class one. Like, drinks were a little more expensive. It's a room that like plays like jazz music, and you just sit there and like have your drink or whatever. I lit the floor on fire in there one time by accident. Lighting Zambuca shots, and I lit my hand on fire too.
I'd love to do a Zambuca episode at some point in my life.
I love Zambuca. And then there was Dooley's, which our Dooley's had a dance floor, and that was like the amalgamation of 2 bars. So that, like, you had like the Mucky Mucks, and then you had like kind of the Hicks would just, everybody would go to Dooley's. And then you had Alley 9, and that was the Hick bar. Like, that's like, you had to be in good with some people, because if you weren't, you prepare to fight. Like, you're going to, like if you were a little too highfalutin, you're probably going to fight there. Like, somebody pick a fight with you. So we used to go there every Thursday because they had karaoke. But so this night, it wasn't a karaoke night, but we went on shrooms, and everything was green. And a friend of mine that I've known most of my life, a female friend, I won't say her name, she was there, and I have zero interest in her. She was just a really good friend. So we were talking, and her boyfriend was there hammered, who was actually a friend of mine, which is weird, like, friend of mine, but like on and off friend, like, but like we never had any type of ill will towards each other. Oh, actually, no, I'm messing that story up. It was his brother that was dating this girl at the time.
Oh, okay.
It was actually died recently, which is terrible. But anyway,
shit.
So this guy took exception to me talking to her. And I remember I was sitting at a table, and I had a friend there who gave us the shrooms, who was like a shroom professional. Like, so he just kind of looked,
shroom professional.
Well, like, compared to us, like,
has done it before.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
So he was kind of looking out for us in case anything got too bad. Like, he would know how to calm us down and stuff. So I remember, I went to go talk at a bar, and then I came and sat down at the table with everybody. And he came over, and he kind of leaned down at the table at me, and he started trying to intimidate me. He's like, "Don't you ever fucking talk to my girl again. I'll fucking take you outside and beat the shit out of you." And the shrooms, this was hilarious to me, and the shrooms did not help. So I start laughing because I'm like, "Oh my God, this guy's literally picking a fight with me because I talked to this girl." And he just kept going on. He's like, "You think this is fucking funny?" He's like, "It's not going to be so funny when I fucking beat the shit out of you." And then, like, he's just doing this. And the more he's trying to intimidate me, the more laughter I can't control. I am losing my mind. I'm laughing. I'm like crying. I'm laughing so hard.
Oh my God. What was she doing during all that?
She wasn't even around anymore. Like, she was on the other side of the bar, so she wasn't She didn't see any of this because she would have came over and been like,
What the fuck?
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
So I get like, I'm laughing so hard. And so he grabs my shirt because he's pissed off. He's trying to be so tough and I'm laughing at him. And my friend who was like the guy who was looking out for all of us, the moment he grabbed my shirt, my friend grabbed this guy by the head and slammed it off the table as hard as he could, knocked him out cold. I thought I was going to die from laughing. That happened when he slammed his head off the table. I thought I was going to die laughing. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my whole entire life. The bouncer dragged that guy out, and we just drank for the rest of the night. We didn't even get kicked out.
Oh my God.
That's how we got for you, yeah.
Just laughing.
Yeah. So that's my shroom story.
Makes me want to go on shrooms.
Yeah. Last time I did shrooms was a long time ago. I think I've only really, truly had 3 shroom experiences. One, very stupidly, I did shrooms on Halloween, and they were in pill form. A friend of mine crushed them down, and we took like pills of them. And then I went to the Palace Halloween night, and I just remember being stuck in like a sea of costumes and not being able to move and being like, oh my God, if I had a sharp object, I'd slit my wrist and die right here.
Oh my God.
Like, I was just like, it was so claustrophobic, and like there's like the scariest dresses, and like it's just
right. The scariest dresses.
Yeah, I don't know. But
you know, that would be trippy at Halloween. Everyone's dressed up in different costumes and shit.
Then I went to one time I went to on a bachelor party in Toronto. We went to strip clubs on shrooms, which was weird too. But
what was that like? Were you seeing green then too?
No, I wasn't seeing green, but I had that inner kind of laughy kind of thing going on. So
that's so weird to me because some people say that you see things.
I think it's all the potency.
Some people say that you don't.
Yeah, I think it's all the potency of whatever.
The seeing things is what freaks me out the most.
Yeah, I've never seen things, but I have. Like I said, like my vision has been altered as everything was green.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And then wasn't there a story that like you like kicked yourself out of your own party?
I don't know if I should tell that story, but I will.
I love that story.
Yeah, so I used to, growing up, and actually this is kind of one that would be great. Like, there'll be stories from these events when Bryant's on the podcast. But
Bryant, get your ass on here.
Yeah.
I'll get up early for you, bud.
So when we were underage and we were drinking, I had a cottage that was right on the beach.
Bougie.
So I used to throw underage parties every weekend, which were awesome. Like they were almost like Nikki, my guardian, like I said, she and my grandfather would let me go because her thought was always like, if they have a place to drink, they can crash, they'll be safe. They're not like
they're contained.
And so they used to let me go out there and I would have these underage parties at my cottage. So one time, this was actually when I was of age. It was one of the last cottage parties I had. We had a bunch of people from the city come down this time, and it was a huge rager of a party. Like we were drinking, like it was classic to drink. Like if you go to a cottage party, usually you had to drink like Colt 45 and moonshine. Like that's all like a lot of us used to drink. So I got really fucking hammered. And there's a picture of this online, but what happened was drunken stupid me had a shitty Buick Skylark that I loved, sky blue. I drove it down right underneath the deck on my cottage. And we decided to start, like I started jumping off my cottage deck onto my car, like belly flopping.
Oh, why?
I could not tell you why. It seemed like a thing at the cottage was like we get drunk and then we just do stupid, dangerous shit. Like, so drink responsibly out there. Don't do
It's like
shit.
the Jackass mentality.
It was, exactly, because I think that was around the time of Jackass.
That was such a time. That was really a moment in time for like comedy and like extremism and like all that.
For sure. So we were doing that, and this is a night also, I guess I could tell at the end, but I didn't know till I was so drunk. I didn't know till next day, but I shattered my heel jumping on my car. I shattered my heel. Didn't know till the next day, but I was that drunk. So this next part, bear with me. I was stupid and I do not condone this, but So there's a lot of people at this party, and a friend of mine jumped off my deck onto my car, and he was kind of like rolling around like he hurt himself, and I'm an idiot. So what I do is I grab my car keys, and he's rolling around on the hood of my car, and I jump behind the wheel, and I reverse out of like my little front yard of my cottage. I was stupid. I was young. Do not do this.
Yeah.
So I reverse out of it, and I take off down the road with him on the hood of my car. And all I can hear are girls screaming at me because they were kind of obsessed with. And all I can hear are girls like screaming,
that was the
like
most subtle.
screaming at me. And I look back.
What were they screaming? Corey, have my babies.
No. It's basically like, sorry. They were screaming for this guy on the hood of my car.
Oh, okay.
Like, and probably just because they were good people that were like, Corey's drunk and he has this person on the hood of his car. I almost said his name. Anyway, I see like a lineup of just girls chasing the car down the road. And I slam on the brakes and he goes flying the car. It's so stupid. I don't know why I did this. And then, so they run up and they pick him up off the road, and he's milking it. He's actually laughing. He was that drunk too, but he's milking. He's like, yeah, you girls just want to like help me back in, and like he kind of gives me a look like whatever. And then so I pull like a bunch of girls jump in my car and they're like, give me the keys, Corey. I was like, okay, cool. And then, so they drive back to the party, which wasn't very far. And they park the car. It's stupid. I know. And I was like, and they take my keys, and rightfully so. And then I was like, yeah, sorry. Like, I got carried away. Like, just having some fun. Like, jackass mentality. Like, it's funny to shoot your friend off to the car while you're drunk and driving. Don't do it. Don't do any of this. And so I started walking back into my cottage. And the girls
your
like,
cottage.
My cottage.
Yours. And this was your party.
My party. And they were like, no, we're taking you know who in, and you can't come back in. I was like, what? And they're like, no, we don't want you back in this party. So I was like, okay, cool. So literally like a couple guys from the city and like a few of my friends just grabbed a bunch of booze from my party, and we just drank in one of their cars, like sitting in there. And
wasn't there some of the bike?
What?
Wasn't there like something that had to do with you on a bike, a broken bike or something?
Oh.
Am I mixing up the stories?
This is a different story, but that I can tell. That was pretty much the end of the story. I kicked out
my own party. That's hilarious.
But that story is, I have two friends who are twins who they moved to. They're from Liverpool. They live out west now, but they moved to the Valley for a while. And I had a few friends going to school there. And one weekend they were like, "Yeah, come up. Like, we'll have some fun." Blah blah blah. So the story, it kind of breaks up a little bit for me, but there's two places you can go to in Wolfville. You can go to the Axe, which is the campus bar, but somebody has to sign you in, or you can go to the Anvil. So we would go to the Axe, and we got really drunk one night, and then we went to the Anvil, and I kind of lost everybody. So basically, nobody was home, so every time I went back, I didn't have a key to get in or anything, so I couldn't get in. So I wandered to just around the streets, and I ran to a party because it's a college town. I was like, I'm just going to walk in this party and just act like I go to Acadia, and I probably will get away with it. So this is where I vaguely remember this. I was very drunk this night. So I walk in this party, and everybody's like, hey, like, what's up, man? I remember I just walked like into the kitchen, and everybody's like, hey, man.
Oh my
God.
God.
I was like, hey, I'm Corey. He was like, hey, you want to do a shot? And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, so I'm partying with all these people. And I just remember a guy was like, hey, man. He's like, bringing booze? I was like, no. He's like, well, I got this Zambuca for my girlfriend, but she's puking now, so you can have it. And I remember I downed this bottle of Zambuca. This is where I don't remember anything. But so whatever the party happened, like everybody got broke up. Another friend of mine, he came back early too, couldn't get in the house. So he had a Jeep that he brought up. So he passed out in it. And he's like, I woke up in like really early in the morning, and I looked out my window, and I saw this guy coming down the road on a bike. And then it got closer, and it's like, it was you on a bike. And then on a bike with 2 flat tires.
That's what it was.
He's like, so what you did was you dumped the bike. You were riding it really well till one point you just like wiped out, dumped the bike. You stood up, you looked left, you looked right, and then you took off running down the hill. Not even in the house or anything like that. And I was like, I don't remember any of that.
Jesus Christ. I would have loved to have known you back then. That's insane.
God. Yeah, we had that was kind of the cool thing about living in a small town. You had to make your own, you had to do your own thing. You had to do like have your own party. Make your own
That's the thing I love about small town drunkenness.
Yeah.
Because you did do stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
Because what else were you to do?
Exactly. Like you had to make your own fun. Like, well, once Brian's on the podcast, we'll talk about like what we used to call the posse. And that's lots of stories of our making our own fun and like
stupid hick fun.
Oh, we were jocks.
I
know what you're saying. Yeah, small town.
Small town.
Yeah, I have like a ton of drinking stories. It's funny. The few are on tape too. They're kind of. I used to tape my cottage parties. I used to have VHSs of them.
VHSs.
Yeah. They were something like it. Still to this day, I go home to Liverpool and run into people like that are grown with families, and they always bring up their like. Those cottage parties were like the best days of our lives. And they were so much fun and so many memories came out of it. And
God damn.
Yeah. I mean, we'll tell more when Brian's around because there is definitely some amazing.
I cannot wait for that. And now that it's on a mic, it means he has to do it.
Yes, exactly.
It's accountability, really, is what
he mentioned it the other night at the comedy show. He's like, you want me on the podcast? And you're like, yeah. I was like, cool.
I was like, I'll work around you, man.
Yeah. So... yeah, hopefully you can do that soon.
And now here we are.
Yes.
And I should say as well, like, you're the host of InTalksicated Reviews, which if you listen, we might have newish listeners that might not be familiar with how that all started, but essentially, and you must be getting close to 100 episodes.
I gotta look, actually. I could be over it, but I don't know.
It would have been soon after we started. We did the Leftovers episode on my channel.
Yes.
Which was one of the earlier episodes. I'd be curious. We might be like at it soon.
Yeah. Actually, I should look. I wonder if Lipson probably told somebody.
Did you know that like... Okay, so here's something I'm going to bring up. Just changing tones slightly.
Ooh.
There's this thing now called Luminary.
Okay.
And it's like essentially a Netflix streaming service for podcasts. Have you heard of this?
I didn't till I saw your post earlier.
So, Guys We Fucked is my favorite podcast.
Yes.
If
we're plugging podcasts, I just want to say, How Did This Get Made and Weekly Planet.
And I should say as well, How Did This Get Made kind of bonded you and I. Because you told me about it and I fell in love with it.
Yeah. And
then that kind of made us want to do our own reviews channel. So there you go. But Guys We Fucked essentially have been like, we're moving to this. Like at some point,
nice.
We're moving over to this. It's going to be $7.99 for me to continue listening to my favorite podcast.
Oh, that's kind of shitty.
The creator side of me is like, that's really cool because that's giving them a chance to like, they're going to get money to like hire guests and like fly people out to be on their show. So the creator side of me is like, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
You know? Like to get to that point where a company would pay you to grow your show is insane. Yeah. But the other side of me is like, oh, fuck. That's just another thing to add to my credit card. Like everything is a subscription service. It's insane.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that because there are podcasts. Let's just say there's very few podcasts I would personally travel down that road with. Like,
really?
How Did This Get Made? Yes, but probably...
Think of your favorite one, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like your all-time favorite.
My only thing about that, though, is that they only really do a episode about a movie every 2 episodes because one's a mini episode. So I was like, is $7.99 worth it for 2 episodes a month? And then Weekly Planet, I probably would pay that too. I love Weekly Planet.
See what I mean, though? Like,
yeah.
When you get used to hearing someone's voice every single week... Like, just imagine it not being in your life anymore. Yeah. It's really fucked up, right?
Yeah. that's a weird concept too, because I understand, you know what? Like I can sit here and be like, I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I agree with that. But at the end of the day, if they came to me and was like, hey, would you want part of this? I'd be like, yes, please sign me up.
That's why I'm so conflicted.
Yeah, I would be conflicted, but there's a part of me that finds that weird too, where I'm just like, Netflix charges for Netflix because they like podcasts. They have people to pay. That being said too, though, it's like podcasts are already free. Like none of the stuff was free in the past. So it's just an odd idea.
It's really odd.
But I mean, the broke ass part of me is like, yeah,
but I guess
I would
that's
do that.
how because they're charging for it.
Yeah. That's my cat. He wants to go outside and tear up the carpet. But.
No.
Harry,
come back over here. Come see us.
Come on. What's that?
Oh, he's such an adorable boy. Yeah. But yeah, no, it is bizarre. I'm very conflicted as to how I feel about it.
Yeah.
But because it's my favorite podcast, I'm like, I gotta.
Yeah.
I gotta. Yeah. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
But imagine if someone paid you.
Oh, man.
To get who would you get on reviews if you had the money to fly them?
I mean, still I think my podcast gold would be Kevin Smith. He is officially my
Did you see his Instagram post about Captain Marvel?
Yeah. Aww. He's an emotional guy now, which is awesome. Like he cries a lot, but it's nice that he's in tune with that. But I actually saw an interview he did talking about it as well. And it's
some nice.
I mean, I can only imagine something like that. Like he grew up a comic book fan, like boy, like, and now the movies that he loves has referenced him.
That's so nice.
Yeah,
he's your number one, I think.
Yeah, he has a gift for gab, and he's kind of shaped my love of movies so much. He's probably my favorite writer director out there. So yeah, and he's a podcaster now. Like has a really good podcast. There's so many levels of Kevin Smith too. He went from like this weird director that was kind of quiet and acted really cool to like a more open guy to like this just over the top, like, I don't know, charismatic guy. Like it's kind of weird.
He's great. I love him. Do you have any? So I told you before I came here.
Yes.
To think of.
Oh,
did I say 2 truths and a lie or 2 lies and a truth? Whichever one I told you.
Said 2 truths and a lie.
Did you come up with any?
I came up with 3.
Okay, let's test me out.
Yes. I have a few things here that I'm like, you might already know, but I don't know. So I tried to categorize them.
You got it.
Okay. So I'm going to go with, I have 3 childhood things. So 3 things from my childhood, 2 truths, 1 lie.
Okay. I need to find the lie.
As a child, I won a politeness award. As a child, my house burnt down. And as a child, I watched a kid drown to death.
Jesus. Okay, well, I know the politeness is true.
Mm-hmm.
House burned down. Watched someone drown. I think the house burning down is the lie.
No, my house burnt down.
Holy shit, seriously?
Yeah, 100%. I even remember the one thing that Nikki always like was mad about that is that we were just out and she bought me a brand new Ninja Turtles jacket that was fairly expensive, and our wood stove just like caught the house on fire, and so we ran out and I left the brand new jacket like in the house, and I remember she's always pissed off about it. But like,
did you lose everything?
Yes, yeah.
Holy shit!
I like a very little was salvaged, but
dear God.
Yeah, house burnt down. So watching a kid drown is technically the lie, but I did watch a kid drown. I said a kid drowned to death. I watched a kid drown, and he was blue.
Was this a camp thing?
No, it was there's a place called Pond Hook that's very close to Liverpool. And we were there. It was me and Nikki and her best friend at the time, Janice. And I think her 2 kids were probably there too. And a kid drowned. Like he was done. He was blue. And Nikki's friend, Janice, who was a nurse, she gave him CPR. And it's so vivid. Obviously, this moment would like be burnt in my brain. But the kid was dead. Like he was
Jesus
blue.
Christ.
And she was giving him CPR. And it was to a point that people were kind of like, maybe stop. Like there's a guy that was like saying like, it's time to stop. Like it went on for a long time, and she brought the kid back to life. Like she just kept going and going and going.
That's insanity.
Yeah. So technically I watched the kid drown, but he didn't die, which is good. Yes.
Escaped one dark moment.
This one's a little, all these are, I'll talk about it after. They're kind of weird.
I love it.
So these are all kind of entertainment related.
Okay.
Ones. One is I got taken up on stage with David Copperfield. I was on the set of a Steve Carell movie, Burt Wonderstone, or I was an extra in the movie Outlander.
What the? Okay, I think. Is Outlander Canadian?
It's not Canadian. It's a movie that stars.
It's a movie?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a show.
Oh, it's a show too, but this is the movie that was made. It has Ron Perlman, Jim Caviezel in it, and it came out a little while ago.
I think the Steve Carell movie's the lie.
Okay, so the truth is, I got on stage with David Copperfield.
I knew that.
Yeah, I was on the set of the Steve Carell movie. Burt
Oh,
the lie
what was that? Explain that one.
Well, actually, it's kind of funny. It goes hand in hand with the David Copperfield one. When I got married in Vegas, we wandered on the set of Burt Wonderstone was like right on the strip, so we got to walk on like literally right on the set.
So like
they were filming a scene outside. So
did you see yourself in the movie?
No, I wasn't actually in it. I was on the set, but the way they were filming it, you couldn't. What they were filming, you couldn't, like, you weren't in.
Did you watch the movie to go though and be like, I was there?
No,
I
heard the movie was terrible, but I saw the scene they were filming in the trailer. So the lie is I was an extra in the movie Outlander. I was on set for the movie Outlander though. I met at where I work. I met a stunt guy named Flint Eagle, and he got me on the set. And I was supposed to be an extra, but I couldn't stick around. I had to leave early, but they were gonna. So the shoot got pushed back, and I was like, unfortunately, I gotta go to work. But they were gonna put me in makeup and stuff, and
wow,
yeah, and put me in that movie. But yeah, I did not get that one.
That's crazy.
So you may know maybe two of these stories. So then the next three, and I've talked about the injuries and the hospitalizations I've had. These are three about medical things that maybe have happened to me. One being I've had marshmallow scraped off my cornea with a scalpel. Another one is I've had the chicken pox twice. And the third one was I was in a coma for 3 days.
Chicken pox is a lie.
It is a lie.
Ooh, I got nailed that one.
You did, yes.
I see. I even though the marshmallow thing grossed me out, I seem to remember you telling that story.
Yeah, I had my eyes totally dilated, and I had to look at a lock on a wall, and I could not move. And a doctor literally took a scalpel of all things and scraped off.
Did that help you get over? I know a lot of people are freaked out about things in their eyes.
Not necessarily. I don't know. I don't think I had a long-term effect of it. Like I was just happy to get the because the reason I have marshmallow on my eyes because I was at a campfire, and I hate camping, but I was at a campfire and
fuck camping.
I lit a marshmallow on fire, like it lit on fire when I was roasting it, so I whipped it back to blow it out. When I whipped it, I threw a flaming marshmallow in my eye, and it was scraped off. Yeah, so
that's intense.
It didn't really bother me. I had to rock a pirate patch for like 2 weeks after that.
That would suck.
Yeah, it's kind of
anything with your eyes. It's never any fun.
And in a coma for 3 days, I knocked myself out playing basketball and then went to sleep. That's a longer story, but I think I've talked too much about my injury.
Coma and also anesthesia and like being put out from that. It's really weird. Maybe I'm just really depressed lately. But the other day, I was like thinking about death. This gets dark. And you know me, I'm always scared of death. Mm-hmm. Like I'm just terrified of it.
Yeah, me too.
And the other day, I was like kind of in and out of a nap.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about when I was put under.
Yeah.
And I was just like, maybe that's what death is.
Like nothingness?
Like maybe it's just literally like you just drift off.
Yeah. I mean.
And I got very like sad / relieved about it. I was like, Sarah, you are depressed.
Yeah.
Shit.
I've been really good lately, but like I think I'm in the same boat. I sometimes have a weird obsession with death. Death is not the unknown is definitely terrifying to me. Like I remember I never think about death, but I went through years of like, I would always think about death when I like right before going to sleep. So much so that I would like almost have like full on panic attack.
Dude, me too.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
I've kind of got over it. I don't know how, but alcohol helps.
I often think I'm like, should I find spirituality? Should I find should I do something like that to like calm my?
I mean, I don't know.
Obsession about it.
Maybe. I have this weird, like I said, I'm agnostic, and I'm not like, I don't know. To me, it's so funny. I always say this. I was like, because everybody says like super religious people that are like try to stuff it down your throat are the most annoying people in the world. And I'm like, yeah, they were the most annoying people in the world, but I fucking hate atheists like so much now. And it's not even that they don't believe in God and stuff. I'm like, I'm fine with that. Like, cause I was like, as agnostic, I'm like, I'm literally like, I don't know what's what.
Right.
But they're just like, they're so just like quick to be like, fuck you, you fucking idiot. You believe in God, you fuck. And I'm like,
it can go the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can go
and
the
it's
other
almost
way.
just like, no. But the funniest thing, it's just because like, and I know people like, oh no, there's scientific proof. And it's like there's no proof in science. It's all theory. But they're just like the Big Bang. I'm like, okay, so you don't believe in a person created the world. I get that. And I'm cool with that. But you believe that a random act like an explosion created a perfect universe that like has everything we need to survive, all the planets align the way they do. I'm like, if I put a bunch of gears and metal in a pile and I light dynamite underneath it, I'm not going to have a watch when that thing explodes. Like, it's just
exactly
idea. Like, and I'm not saying like, so that only means that there has to be a God. But for me personally, like, and like I said, I'm not religious in the least. I don't know. I'm firmly a believer of, I'd have no fucking clue. But I believe that the way that everything works perfectly is not the biggest coincidence that ever fucking happened. Like an explosion didn't make, I think, something as perfect as the universe. Now, that being said, is there a God? I don't know. But I just think like people are just like, you're an idiot for thinking somebody created everything. I believe in explosions.
Right.
Like, I don't know. That theory is just hilarious to me.
And your wife is very religious.
Yes.
Has she ever tried to?
No, I mean, for the most part, no. She
oh, that's good.
She likes to debate it more than like.
Oh, interesting.
She's like, I love hearing people's views and blah blah blah.
Oh, well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, she'd never like would ever force. And for the most part, like I said, her parents are very religious as well, but they have never at all either. Like it's kind of weird too, because the one thing I always say, I'm like, I think we put up too many borders or boundaries around each other. So like, I don't like, the world's like, I don't like you because you look a certain way and you believe this. And like, it's just more boundaries. Like our differences should unite us, not like tear us apart. Like, it's just,
we should be able to talk about.
Yeah. And like, believe what you believe at the end of the day. But that being said, like, I support her beliefs, and if anybody wants to believe what they want to believe, that, and if it doesn't bring harm to any other person, go nuts. I was like, I don't know more than you. I have my own belief structure, but I'm not going to chastise you for like what you believe in. Now, if whatever you want to believe in, and if that's an organized thing, now if they're bringing harm to people or like are sketchy, i.e. Scientology, I got a problem with you. But for the most part, like, I'm just like, if you want to believe what you want, like,
as long as you're not harming
that's fine.
people.
I don't have the answers. And as long as, like, I don't know. I don't like this holier than thou, like, I know, you don't know. Like, I hate that shit.
Any type of person who does that is.
I know what I believe, and I'm not saying I'm right, but I'm not saying you're wrong either. Like, I'm just like, I kind of draw my own conclusions, and I try to be as good a person as I can in case there maybe is an afterlife. Who knows if there is, if there is.
Who fucking knows?
I know.
Okay, so I got a surprise segment here.
Ooh.
Have you heard of the assumptions tag?
Nope.
So this is something going around with YouTubers.
Okay.
They get people to send them in their assumptions of them.
Ah.
And then they discuss whether that is correct or not.
Okay.
The look on Corey's face right now. So I wrote a couple. I wrote 7.
Awesome. I'm excited. This seems good.
And this is based on, I guess, 5 years of knowing you.
Oh. Awesome.
Now, okay, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
I'll just say the first one.
Awesome.
You don't like talking about feelings.
No, I don't. I really don't. I like, if I'm going to be honest about my feelings, I don't know. I guess this is kind of a deep kind of thing, but I know the way that I am, and I know I don't like talking about my feelings, and I don't necessarily like showing a lot of my feelings. It kind of comes from my childhood, and I talked how much about like how much my grandfather like raised me, and he's a very stoic, like, no, I wouldn't say so, but very much it seemed like growing up with him as my father figure, he'd basically be like, you're a man, act like a man. Like, and not in a bad way, but like,
yeah, I think a lot of people
the old
raised that
way. Like, men don't show their emotions.
Men don't cry.
Men are tough. Men are this, men are that.
Yeah.
And that's just the way I kind of was raised. So I don't know. I don't like showing my emotions too much or talking about my feelings, which in later years is kind of like, I am who I am now. But like, the older my grandfather got, the more sentimental he got. And like, he'd always like say, I loved you. But now he like, every time I like have to hug and like give him a kiss on the cheek, like he's like, I want to hug. And it's like, it's mind blowing to me because I'm like, oh, you're so different now. Like you're emotional. Like, I think that's what age and getting older that happens. So it kind of shakes me at core, but like, I don't like, and maybe it's a problem of mine. I don't
think so. Not
well,
necessarily.
I will say like when my, like Nikki, I talked about earlier, when she passed away last year, I kind of, my sister kind of can't get around, but that's like, whatever. My brother, who would be in charge of like funeral arrangement stuff, he lives in Ontario. Jen was around. Jen was busy at the time, but and Jen's like I had to go, like when she died, like I was kind of I was the last person to see her from the family. Like I would go, like basically the old folks home called me and was like, she is died. This is death. Like this is what happened.
They tend to know.
Yeah,
when it's
like
coming soon.
There's a few times where she had episodes they're like maybe not, but this was a time when they're just like, she may die tomorrow, she may die a couple weeks from now, but she is in the process of death. Jesus. And so like I don't know why I have no real answer, but I like Jim was very much like, well, we should go see her, obviously. Like, and I was like I kind of fought her on it. I'm like, I kind of want to do this alone. Like I don't.
Right.
And maybe it is going back. Like, I don't want Jen to see me weak. I don't want people to see me like emotional. Cause I was like, obviously it's an emotional time. And so I like sat there with her for hours and I was like kind of last one. And I stayed pretty much for like, it was like 6 or 8 hours just sitting with her. And it's very like the home that she was in was amazing. And like they play music and it's all dark and like you sit there and it's troubling because like.
Was she talking to you?
She wasn't talking. She should say, I said she passed away. From Alzheimer's. So she didn't really make a lot more sense, but this, like, she's in death. And it's like, the only unsettling part is that she would toss and turn a little bit and like say stuff that didn't really make sense. Right. So it's tough, but I needed to sit with her. Yeah. But obviously it's emotional and I don't like showing my feelings. So I didn't necessarily want anybody else to do that. Like, and then but you know what? That was emotional, but I think I held it together a lot then and because nobody else was around, like I had to take charge of like funeral plans. Like
You were thrown into logistics mode.
yes, so like she passed away. I had to go to the funeral home to identify the body, pick up her personal effects and stuff. You know what? It's so funny. Like when I said I sat with her, I was emotional, but I was fine. Like I wasn't a mess. I went there and I was like, okay, I told, and Jen's like, well, I want to go. And I was like, I kind of want to do this by my own. And she understood that. Like she understands that I'm not the most open person sometimes. So it's like, okay, if you feel like you need to do this alone, I'm like, yeah. So I went there and I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, I'm going to see her and I can tell them it's fine. So I show up and they have her in kind of the viewing room, but nobody's in there. It's fairly large. And the guy, he's like, she's in there. Do you want some time? And I was like, I think I'm okay. Like, I'll go look. And I thought I was fine. And the moment I saw her dead, I was like, yeah, I'm going to need a minute. And I just like bawled, like in this wide open, like kind of ceremony thing. And it was the first time that I couldn't keep it together. Like I was like, and part of me, I think my subconscious knew that was going to happen. And that's why I didn't want anybody around. And that's, like I said, maybe a problem I have, but it's something I wanted to do on my own. And maybe it's not like seeing in front of anybody, but like, I don't know.
I get that though. That's kind of a private experience.
Yeah. And I know, and I understand Jen, it probably upset Jen a little bit because.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I think the people who care about you want to get close to you and have you open up to them.
Yeah. And she wants to be there with me to support me.
Right.
But I really want to make I didn't want to exclude her from that, but I'm like, this is something I really, really want to do on my own. And that may be a flaw of mine. I'm not saying that's a positive thing.
No, I don't necessarily. I just think people need to understand. I think friends need to understand when people are like you.
Yeah.
That the form of support is not necessarily the form of support they might think in their head. In other words, we might think physically going to you and like hugging and like being there is support. But in your mind, support is holding back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like you're showing support by saying, I'm here for you. I'm so sorry. Like, I remember when you told me that day, that was friggin' insane. Because I just texted you about trivia and you're like, not going to make it. Yeah. My mom died. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, this is just clearly, like, it was just a very you way to say it.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting to me how we deal with things differently. Like, we're polar opposites. Like, I'm someone who, like, if I experience something, I'm texting people right away. I'm reaching out to people right away. But you're more like, you're way more private about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like
there's some people I flat out didn't tell because I was like, I'm not, like, I tried to, like, a lot of people I kept in the dark because I'm like, I don't know. I'm just a person that, like, unless it's inevitable that I have to tell you that, I was like, I'd rather just kind of, I don't know.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're, I think you're also the type to, it's better for you to come to us. If you want to, like, prying is just going to annoy you, you know? Like,
yeah, exactly.
So it's important to know when to step back as friends.
And one, like, it's people that also, like, you know me, and obviously, like, Norm, a good friend of mine who's on the podcast a lot. He knows me, like, and he knows how to handle me perfectly kind of thing too, because he's very much like, he knows I like my space, but he'll just say, and like, you do the same, like, anything you need, I'm here, sorry to hear it, blah, blah, blah. Like, and like Bryant, like, we've been best friends forever, and he definitely knows, and he was kind of like, he knows certain things he can say, or certain things he can do that basically are like, because he's like, I don't know. When Nikki passed away, she didn't have a lot around here, a lot of friends and stuff. Like, she kind of was losing her mind for a little while. But he's like, if it's cool with you, I really kind of want to have a lot of the boys together, because, like, everybody loved Nikki, all my friends. Like, she used to, like, she was kind of the cool mom, because she would, like, would let us drink at our place. She's like, I don't want you in the woods, or like, she would, like, always, like, we playing road hockey, and she would make cupcakes and bring them. Like, she was like, everybody loved her. She was like the cool mom. So he's like, I kind of want to get all the boys together and have, like, kind of just like a little memorial amongst us, and just like drink and stuff. So So yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate to have people like you, people like Norm, people like Bryant in my life, because maybe I don't know how to handle my feelings or express my feelings, but
I think I'm getting much better at it.
Yeah.
Especially like when I've come to you with stuff, how you respond is much better than it used to be.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think my not personality, I should say, but emotionally, I've tried to kind of tone everything back because I don't know, there's years of me being a hothead, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, assumption number 2.
Yes.
You are hard to impress. And I'm smiling because I kind of mean that in 2 ways. With people.
Yes.
But also like TV and movies. I think that I truly think that you are a true critic when it comes to watch. But that could come. Do you think that comes from podcasting? Do you view media the same way as you did before the podcast?
I think so, yeah. I think I've always been this person. Just because it's weird to say, but film it's been such a
huge part of your life.
Yeah, like I love film. I love it on different levels. Like I like a lot of people love movies. Like I love I can sit there and I love breaking down the score, the acting, the producing, the directing, like
the components,
like everything, and like special effects. Like I love film. So yeah, I think I've always been a critic. And I think that comes from me loving different levels of a movie. So a lot of people would be like, I like the movie, I didn't like the movie. I'd be like, I like this, I hate the score. Direction could have been better this way, but source material, so I think I've always critiqued stuff because when I'm home and I'm not watching a show or a movie I need to do for the podcast or something, I'm watching videos or reading articles about movies, behind the scenes and stuff like that. So I think I've always been a critic at heart when it comes to movies ever since I kind of flipped that movie loving switch in my mind when I went from just loving movies as they are to loving everything about film and movies. So
because not everyone views it that way.
Yeah,
not everyone can look at a film as all these moving parts.
Yeah,
you know.
And I mean, and some people, they just like to be enjoyed by a film. I love film so much that I dig deeper into it. Yeah.
Okay. Assumption number 3. You are very responsible.
No. I don't think I'm very responsible.
I think you are.
You
follow diets?
I do. I follow diets, but I don't think I'm responsible. I'm still a kid at heart. I'm still trying to break that lost boy mentality, I think.
Interesting.
I don't think I'm responsible. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I live in my own mind.
Well, I feel like you've been doing a lot of drinking lately.
Yes, I love drinking. Now that I found a loophole in keto, I've been drinking a lot lately. But
loophole in keto.
Yeah, I mean, I'm responsible to a certain extent. I think that's. But you're
good. Okay. I guess when I say that, I just mean if I were to ask you out to something, to a party or a drinking situation, you're normally really good with being I got shit to do the next day, I can't. Whereas other people, like me, for example, would probably try to push that.
Yeah.
Because I always pick social things over.
Depends on the importance. I guess I would say I'm mildly responsible.
Mildly? That's pretty okay. It's easy to break your trust.
Yes. Yeah, totally. I mean, that goes with, I think, first impressions and stuff.
Yeah, I think those two go hand in hand.
Yeah, I'm kind of I'm a person, if you break my trust, it's kind of
Are you a forgiver? Would you give second and third chances?
Depends. I tend not. I'm very, this is actually funny. There was a while ago, I was night after night, I can hold a grudge. I can hold a grudge for eternity. But there was
such a Sagittarius.
There we go. If you believe in that sort of thing. But I was going through this phase. I think subconsciously my brain's you need to start forgiving people. And,
interesting.
And I would, night after night, I would have dreams about forgiving people in my life that I've been holding grudges against. Legitimately, doing that. I think I have. I could probably, I even know probably around the dates because I made a Facebook post that said hey, subconscious, or I was hey, brain, stop forgiving people in my dreams, or I'm going to give you a hangover you'll never forget. But like,
Oh my God.
I think it's like a coping mechanism, but I think I hold so many grudges that my subconscious is like, okay, we got to get rid of some of this.
It can be freeing to forgive somebody.
Yeah, but it depends on, I'm kind of the person that I don't necessarily, and I won't say people's names on here, but I won't necessarily forgive people, but I'll basically be like, I won't hold anger anymore. I'm just like, I'm just done.
I'm done being mad.
I'm just done.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
move on to your next friend or something.
You piece of shit. You have many guilty pleasures.
Oh, yes, of course.
What are they? like,
it's funny. All my guilty pleasures are kind of like entertainment related. So like when it comes to like movies and TV, I'll watch like some real like weird guilty pleasures. But guilty pleasures like vices in my life, I don't have too many of those. I'm a heavy drinker.
That's not a guilty pleasure. You're proud of that. You have a drunk podcast.
Yeah, very true. But I mean, guilty pleasures, it's kind of weird too. There's a habit I have to break. Like Jen's very much like a minimalist, and growing up, like my grandfather and Nikki had like an antique store, and from a very young age, it was like everything has a value. Like if you hold on to it long enough, which kind of made me a pack rat. I'm trying to like break that, but like.
You guys really don't have a lot of stuff.
No, but that's mainly because
for two people in this apartment,
Jen kind of forces their hand. But like, I have a lot of collectibles. Like, I still have like very old comics. I still collect very rare comics, like rare Funko Pops. Like, there's a collector in me, and I don't know if that's a guilty pleasure. Maybe it's more of a hobby, but it's something I try to like not get too obsessive over, kind of thing. Yeah. Like, but I've got into collecting rare comics. And I need to break that habit.
Okay. The last one. I chose the best one for the last.
Oh, here we go.
The next assumption is you actually really love Kirk. Oh, shit. I said his last name. Kurt. I'll bleep that.
Kerp. I really love Kerp.
Deep down.
No comment.
You actually really, really like Kurt.
No comment.
And that, oh God, I still want to do a Corey and Kurt podcast so bad. I know it's never going to happen.
We've been on a podcast together.
Oh, very briefly.
I know.
Which one was that? The Comic-Con?
Yeah, Comic-Con.
Oh, let me tell you, in 2 years of podcasting, two close friends only being on a fraction of an episode together is unacceptable.
Yeah, that's it.
But that's all I got for you.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of just scratched the surface of but
this is what I mean. Like, you think 2 hours is like a long time? It's really not.
No.
When it comes to like getting to know people.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of my high school days, I got lots of stories for those. But Bryant is best to be on here. Bryant Thompson, stand-up comedian, and once again doing stand-up. Bryant Thompson.
And absolutely friggin' hilarious.
Yeah,
and is your regular co-host
on 90s Proof, 80s Proof.
Some Ready or Not.
Some Ready or Not. Bring Back Swayze. That's a Bad Rap.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to think of all the dudes on Dudikoff. Anyway, yeah, go over Intoxicated Reviews.
Oh my God.
Check out some episodes. If you haven't listened, I mean, like, it's awesome. We've been doing this podcasting, like Sarah started it, and it's been real fun. And I think over at Reviews, we've turned out some really fun episodes. If you're not easily offended, go back and listen to me and Bryant and stand-up comedian Peter White talk about it. That one's really good.
It's so good.
But I mean, we had some good episodes recently. Like, I think two of our better episodes, just me and Bryant talking. We did one on the newest Halloween movie. We did one on the newest Predator movie. We've kind of talked about our lives in those ones. I think they're really good. There's so many really good ones. Like, go back and check those out. Some 90s Proof. Listen to newer episodes. I mean, it's been kind of hectic, and I don't think I've been doing as many movies as I like to. But
well, it's friggin' hard because, I mean, listen, like, I just got to show up, prepare a couple questions for people, meet them and interview them. But, like, you got to, like, watch movies, watch TV shows. Like, there's a lot that goes into reviewing and recapping a movie. That's time. That's more time. It's more energy. It's a lot of work.
I love doing it. So
it is fun.
Go over to our Patreon and maybe.
Yes, please.
If you kick in enough cash, I'll be able to quit all my jobs and I'll get great.
Maybe then we'll be on Luminary.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, Unless we're not in their bed, but or unless that caramel M&M's check comes through the mail soon.
Finally, it's just delayed.
Yeah,
It just got lost in the mail or something.
Now that I'm keto, I can't even. It's kind of funny. I have.
You must cheat.
I don't.
Sometimes
You can't.
Come on.
You can't.
This is the end of the episode. Just tell me. Did you
Okay, I'll tell you.
Do you ever just sneak a little bite of something?
You can't really, because keto's not like most diets, because it's all about keeping your body in ketosis. I got it right this time, and then called ketostasis.
What do you mean you can't? You certainly can.
No, because if
I
knock myself out of ketosis, it's like 2 weeks to get back in there. So it's a diet that you really can't cheat on. Like you have to be strict with it.
But you're liking it?
I mean, yeah, I lost 20 pounds in over 2 months. So
that's pretty fucking good.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I wouldn't know, but
yeah,
I assume that's good.
It is. Actually, it's awesome.
Yeah,
and considering I haven't been exercising, like that's just
that's my dream diet. But also not eating bread would
that sucks. But all the bacon you can stuff in your face.
Yeah, people keep saying that, but the more people keep saying that, the more I'm like, I would probably also get sick of bacon.
I'm kind of there. Like for a while, I was eating a half a pack to a pack a day, but
Jesus
Christ. I don't know. But actually, I was losing my most weight when I was eating that much bacon. So
get back onto bacon.
That's it.
Thank you so much, Corey. This was great.
Thank you.
We dug way deeper than I thought we would.
I know. Well, you said you wanted deep. I mean, once you open that spout, it just
once you go deep, you never go back. Thanks so much. Everybody subscribe to Intoxicated Reviews.
Please.
And check out, is there anything coming up? Anything?
Well, I don't have an episode coming up for this week, but we have a few that we're trying to schedule out. I will be joined by stand-up comedian Travis Lindsay sometime soon to do Jaws 3. We
that's exciting.
On the schedule. If any fans of Half Cut Scene, which I do with Austin, we'll be doing Mortal Kombat coming up and
video games.
Yeah, I mean, and if people like Crisis on Infinite Opinions, our comic book movie one, there's a bunch of comic book movies coming out in the next few weeks. So
yeah, there you go.
Hellboy, Shazam, and Endgame. I don't know if I'll do an episode for everyone, and I may change the format up a little tiny bit.
Ooh.
But
I think you gotta do that sometimes. I've been thinking about doing that too.
The Captain Marvel ones, like a prime example, they're really I love the conversation we had at the first. I may do away with recapping the whole movie and just I'm just it doesn't work for some, and I don't think comic book movies I want to do it for anymore. It's just me saying what happened in the movie. Anybody that knows my formula, it's a scene by scene breakdown, but it only works when you're really making fun of the movie. If you enjoy the movie, I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think talking about your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, what you liked and didn't like, stuff like that.
So it's a work in progress. I'm still trying to streamline the podcast. So so
it's a streamlining process. One is. But thanks guys for listening. Oh, I gotta grab your bell.
But yeah, if you dig, if you don't listen maybe and you dig what I'm saying today, go over to Intoxicated Reviews, check out some old episodes. They're really good. But if you want to see me and Bryant do some terrible Boston accents, you can always.
Yes, I gotta add a link to that.
Yeah,
in the description of this podcast.
Me and Bryant and Mike McQueen, we do this thing called Sarge and the Sox Fan. I'm in 2 episodes. I think I forget how many there are, about 10 or so, but I'm in 2 of them. Also, our friend Andre directs them, so they're really funny. If you want to see me do a terrible Boston accent, go over to YouTube and type in Sarge and the Sox Fan.
It's a great accent. You're really good at the Boston accent.
Yeah, it's a stupid talent of mine because I do it around the house and drive people crazy. So
I love it.
Oh, no problem. But that's probably about it.
This was great.
My shit. Yeah,
I can't believe it took you this long to get on. See, that was not so bad, was it?
Yeah, I'm just going to cry myself to sleep.
Oh, it's intoxicated therapy. Corey, do the honors.
Oh God!
Ring that bell.
3 terrible.
Right.
Hey, do that.